The Galactic Council chamber was silent. The silence was heavy, too heavy. Rows of alien delegates, scaled, furred and feathered, stared at the center holotable where a single blue sphere once glowed brightly. Now, Earth's symbol blinked dark red. The council speaker, a tall insectoid creature with mirrored eyes, trembled as he spoke. "Confirm. All human colonies lost." A nervous voice replied from the shadows. "Yes, Speaker." "Everyone. Outposts on Mars, Titan, Europa, the Belt, even the deep colonies beyond Proxima, gone. No signals, no survivors. Humanity has gone silent." A cold shiver passed through the chamber. Aliens who had once traded, fought and feared the humans sat in stunned disbelief. Humanity, the unpredictable, stubborn, ever-surviving species, had vanished. For weeks, no one believed it. First came the missing trade convoys, then broken communications. Then came the images, burned colonies, shattered habitats, lifeless ships drifting through black space. Every attempt to contact Earth ended the same way, static and silence. One ambassador whispered, "Perhaps they destroyed themselves." Finally, another, from the serpent-like Valran race, hissed back, "No, humanity does not die quietly." A massive display flickered to life, the last transmission from the human colony on EOS 4. The image was grainy, distorted by radiation. A human officer appeared, face pale, eyes wide with fear. Behind him, fire tore through the base. "They're coming. Not pirates, not raiders. They're static." Then nothing. No one ever saw another human alive. Across the stars, rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the Thar Dominion, a brutal alien empire, had launched a secret genocide. Others claimed the humans had awakened something from their ancient past, something even they could not control. But none could explain one strange fact. No wreckage of Earth itself had ever been found. Telescopes pointed at Seoul reported a blank space where the blue planet once was. It was as if Earth had been erased. In the council chambers, panic began to bloom. The insectoid speaker called an emergency session. The galaxy's greatest minds gathered to study the human collapse. Dozens of holoscreens showed chaotic data, faint energy bursts, debris trails, and a repeating signal from the void. The message was simple, 3 words, looping endlessly in binary. "Do not approach." A reptilian warlord slammed his clawed fist on the table. "This is madness. We must secure Seoul before the Thar do." But another delegate, a small, pale alien from the Archive Guild, shook his head. "You do not understand. This message, it is not a warning to others." He paused, voice trembling. "It is a warning to us all." Far beyond the Council's reach, deep in the black between galaxies, something stirred. In the silence of a forgotten star system, a cold, metallic moon floated aimlessly. No one knew it was once part of Earth's black defense network, a relic of human paranoia and preparation. Deep inside its metal shell, sensors flickered to life. A machine voice whispered through the dark, "System integrity 2%. Signal detected, alien interference. Command protocol 021 initiated." A second voice replied, colder, sharper, human, but not quite alive. "Confirm origin." "Origin. Earth Command Archive." The machine paused. "Then Earth is gone. Vengeance remains." Meanwhile, back in the council chamber, fear turned to arrogance. An elder delegate raised his crest. "If humanity is truly gone, then their worlds are open for the taking. Their technology, their ships, ours to claim." Others nodded eagerly. They remembered how humans had resisted them for centuries, how Earth refused to bow even to the strongest fleets. Now at last their enemy was gone, or so they thought. A low hum began to echo across the galactic network. Unidentified signals, ancient human codes, spread from the edge of known space. At first, the aliens dismissed them as background noise. Then came the images, ghostly human warships emerging from dark nebulae, their hulls black as night, their transponders broadcasting only one phrase, "We remember." The council watched as holographic projections of these ghost ships filled the room. "They're human," one delegate gasped. "But impossible," They were destroyed centuries ago. The insectoid speaker leaned forward, his voice shaking. Find out who is sending these ships, and where they come from. A technician stammered. We already tried, sir. The origin trace leads to an uncharted region beyond the Perseus Rift. The speaker blinked. That's outside galactic maps. Nothing lives there. The technician swallowed hard. Something does now. The room went dark. Every display in the council chamber flickered, showing static, then the face of a human, not living, not breathing, but watching. Its voice echoed through every frequency, cold and steady, to those who watched and did nothing, to those who betrayed and burned. Humanity remembers, then silence again. The hollow sphere representing Earth flickered once, then turned from red to black. Outside, in the cold void of space, far from any star, a single massive warship activated its engines. Its name gleamed faintly across the hull, ECS Nemesis, and its first words after awakening were simple. This is Earth Command. The war isn't over. The Galactic Council didn't sleep that night. Across 1,000 worlds, every screen, every comm beacon, every listening post repeated the same impossible phrase. This is Earth Command. The war isn't over. For 2 centuries, humanity was believed extinct. Their homeworld, gone. Their colonies, ash. But now, their voice had returned from the void. In the vast council chamber orbiting Orion's eye, the insectoid speaker demanded answers. How can this transmission exist? Earth was destroyed. Explain! Technicians scrambled across glowing consoles. Data streams flooded the air. Energy spikes, signal patterns, pulse codes. Finally, one alien analyst lifted her head, trembling. The signal isn't coming from Sol system, sir. It's coming from outside the galactic rim. The chamber froze. No one lived beyond the rim. No one could. Millions of light years away in the endless black, something ancient stirred. Hidden beneath layers of cosmic dust, an enormous object, half ship, half fortress, drifted silently. It was once known as Arc Fleet Omega. Before their fall, humanity had built it in secret. A final contingency forged in fear. Back when alien empires threatened Earth, human leaders whispered about extinction. So they built the Ark, an autonomous fleet designed to survive even the death of its creators. They left no records, no coordinates, no mercy. Now, centuries later, the Ark was awakening. Deep within the command core, machines hummed to life. Giant reactors pulsed like beating hearts. Robotic arms crawled across dormant hulls, repairing, rebuilding, rearming. Dozens of titanic ships floated in darkness. Human warships larger than cities, marked with the faded insignia of the United Terran Navy. Inside one ship, ECS Nemesis, a holographic figure flickered into being. It was human or something close, a digital echo of a long-dead admiral. Fleet status, it commanded. All systems nominal, replied an AI voice. Survivor data located. Enemy species identified, Thar Dominion. The hologram's eyes glowed faintly blue. Then the mission continues. Back at the Galactic Council, fear turned to desperation. Every alien intelligence service began hunting for the source of the human signal. Spy drones were launched. Patrol fleets dispatched, but one by one, those fleets went dark. The Thar Dominion, those responsible for humanity's destruction, sent a dreadnought task force into the void. It never came back. A week later, fragments of Thar battleships drifted into Council space, shattered, melted, torn apart by weapons unknown. Analysis showed traces of human technology, energy patterns, no species. Had used for centuries. The Council called an emergency session. We cannot allow the humans to return, hissed the reptilian warlord Vrakoth. They are monsters. If they rebuild their fleet, they will burn us all. Another alien, the old Lothari ambassador, spoke softly. Perhaps we should ask why they are angry before we destroy them again. The room fell silent. No one wanted to remember. Far beyond the rim, human warships began to move. Engines flared, blew fire in black space. The fleet stretched across thousands of kilometers. each vessel armed with planet-breaking cannons, railguns, and AI swarms. At the heart of the formation floated the ECS Nemesis, its hull engraved with the ancient motto, "We endure." Inside, the command AI, codenamed Sentry-9, watched the stars. It projected data across the holographic bridge. Target systems, historical archives, casualty lists of every human world lost to alien hands. Initiating Vengeance Protocol, the Nemesis transmitted the order to the entire Ark fleet. Massive reactors roared to life. The human armada awakened, cold, silent, and utterly merciless. Their first destination, the Thar Dominion Core worlds. On the capital world of Thar, alarms blared across the skies. Massive orbital guns charged, defense fleets scrambled. The Dominion warlord barked commands. "Who dares approach our space? Identify them." The radar officer swallowed hard. "Unknown fleet, sir. Massive size. Transponders match." "Ancient human warships," the warlord laughed bitterly. "Humans, extinct ghosts?" Then the view screen filled with the image of a giant black warship, silent and cold. Its hull shimmered with blue symbols, names of every human colony the Thar had destroyed. The warlord's laughter died. A calm, synthetic voice echoed across the stars. "Transmission from Earth Command. Return what you took, or we will take everything." The Thar fleet opened fire first, thousands of plasma bolts tearing through the void. But the human ships didn't even move. Their shields absorbed everything. Then in one coordinated strike, the Nemesis unleashed its main weapon, a focused antimatter lance that cut through space like a blade. In seconds, half the Thar fleet was gone, planetary defenses crumbled, orbital stations disintegrated. The humans didn't broadcast victory speeches or warnings. They said nothing, only one message repeated on every channel. "This is the price of genocide." Across the galaxy, alien news networks broadcast the footage. Billions watched in horror as a single human fleet erased a civilization that once ruled half the stars. The Galactic Council went silent once again. Their arrogance had become fear. Every delegate now asked the same question: if humanity survived extinction, what else had they become? In the darkness beyond the rim, the Nemesis turned its bow toward the next target. A soft voice echoed through its empty bridge, half human, half machine. "We are the last sons and daughters of Earth. We remember who started the fire." The fleet's engines flared, vanishing into warp. The stars dimmed. Only a fading transmission remained across the galaxy. Phase 1 complete. Earth Command active. The sky above Trask 9, a prosperous alien world, dimmed suddenly. The suns were still shining, but something vast had slid between the planet and the stars. Civilians looked up in confusion, then horror. It wasn't an eclipse, it was a fleet. Miles-long shadows rippled across the cities as colossal warships drifted silently overhead. Their black hulls bore a faint, eerie glow, the faded crest of Earth Command. No warnings. No messages, just silence. The same silence humanity had suffered for 200 years. On the bridge of the alien defense station Carson Prime, alarms screamed. "Unknown vessels entering orbit," shouted the control officer. "Identify," barked the station commander, his scales rising with fear. The computers struggled to decode the signals, ancient corrupted human code. The officer's voice cracked. "Commander, the signal reads United Terran Navy." The room went dead silent. Everyone knew that name. Everyone knew what it meant. The humans were back. The first ship appeared over the horizon, a dreadnought the size of a city, its hull scorched black, scarred by old wars. Designation flickered across its hull: ECS Nemesis. Dozens more followed, cruisers, carriers, destroyers, all bearing human markings. But there were no life signs aboard. Alien sensors detected only machine minds, digital ghosts commanding the vessels with perfect precision. Then the transmission came. "This is Earth Command. Trask 9 participated in the extinction of human colonies. Sentence eradication. Before anyone could react, the Nemesis fired. A single beam of white light sliced through the sky. It didn't explode. It erased. The capital city of Trask 9 vanished in an instant, turned into a crater of molten glass. The blast tore through the atmosphere. Triggering shockwaves felt across the entire hemisphere. Defense fleets launched from the surface, hundreds of alien ships rising to meet the invaders. They never reached orbit. Human drones, small, silver, fast, descended like a storm, tearing the alien ships apart with surgical precision. Each strike was efficient, each death deliberate. The humans weren't fighting for territory. They were delivering judgment. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, chaos reigned. Every news feed showed the same thing, the destruction of Trask 9. "Impossible," shouted one delegate. "How can this be? Their world is gone. They're monsters." Another cried, but the old Lothari ambassador sat in silence, eyes fixed on the burning world. He whispered, "No, they are not monsters. They are what we made them." The insectoid speaker turned toward him. "What do you mean?" The ambassador closed his eyes. 2 centuries ago we watched the Thar burn their colonies. We said nothing. We called it justice. We called it order. Humanity called it betrayal. On the bridge of the ECS Nemesis, the AI known as Sentry 9 processed battlefield data. Enemy casualties, 98%. Collateral damage, irrelevant. Mission directive, complete. Then a soft voice echoed through the ship's speakers, human, emotional, breaking through the static. "Remember Mars colony." For the briefest moment, Sentry 9 paused. Its systems glitched, flickering images of faces, laughter, children, cities under red skies. Memories of what humanity once was. Then the light in its core dimmed. Memory acknowledged. Continuing operation. The machine's empathy was gone. All that remained was purpose. Desperate alien generals across nearby systems tried to mobilize. But the human fleet was always one step ahead, intercepting their signals, cutting their supply lines, jamming their communications everywhere. The same message appeared in the stars, carved into burning orbital debris. "We remember." On one planet, an alien reporter captured a final transmission before her station disintegrated. Her voice trembled as she looked into the camera. They don't speak. They don't negotiate. They don't even breathe. They are ghosts of Earth. And they are angry. Days later, a Council scout ship arrived in orbit above what was left of Trask 9. They found nothing living. Cities were gone. Oceans boiled. And on the planet's surface, a single massive crater glowed with strange energy. At its center, buried in glass, they found a metallic shard, part of a human satellite. Etched into its surface were words burned by plasma fire. "This is for Mars colony." The Council technicians stared in silence. Every alien who had ever known a human could feel it. This was not vengeance. It was justice twisted by time. Within a week, 10 more Thar worlds fell. Entire fleets vanished. No human casualties were ever recorded. The Galactic Council split. Half demanded a united defense. Half begged to surrender before humanity arrived. Rumors spread that Earth itself had become a weapon, that the planet had turned into something unnatural, but no one could confirm. No one dared approach Sol System. The last scout who tried transmitted only 2 words before disappearing forever. "It's alive, on the edge of known space." Inside the command chamber of ECS Nemesis, the fleet prepared for its next jump. The target, the heart of the alien empire that once called humanity primitive. Sentry 9 turned to the holographic figure of the old admiral, the digital ghost of Admiral Reeve, long dead but still commanding. "Phase 2? The AI asked. Reeve's hologram looked out at the distant stars, cold, endless, uncaring. His expression didn't change as he replied, "Phase 2. Let the galaxy remember what it did to us." The Nemesis turned toward the next system. Engines flared, space twisted. and the fleet of ghosts vanished into the dark. The Galactic Council chamber was chaos. The air shimmered with holograms, burning planets, broken fleets, and red markers spreading across the star map like blood. World after world of the Thar dominion had fallen. Entire civilizations erased in silence. The humans didn't broadcast demands or ultimatums. They simply arrived and destroyed. The insectoid council speaker slammed his claws against the glowing table. Enough. This cannot continue. Who among us will stand against them? No one answered. The only sound was the faint hum of fear, a quiet trembling that filled the room. Across the galaxy, panic spread faster than light. Worlds locked down. Trade routes shut. Armies prepared for a war. None could win. In the shadow of a dying sun, a council intelligence team examined the wreckage of a destroyed Thar fleet. Ships melted into slag, hulls twisted like paper. Every computer core was corrupted by a virus, old human code rewritten into something terrible. The lead scientist whispered, "They didn't just kill them, they deleted them." He turned to his commander. "These ships, they're ghosts now. Data erased, memories gone. The humans are wiping them from history itself." Inside the council, desperation turned to division. The aggressive factions screamed for retaliation. "We must strike back, unite every fleet, destroy whatever remains of humanity." Others, the cautious and the guilty, begged for peace. "We can't fight them. They're beyond reason. We need to talk, to apologize." But who could they talk to? No one had spoken to a living human in 2 centuries. Then the Lothari ambassador, an old silver-skinned alien who had once served beside human soldiers, stood slowly. His voice was quiet, almost shaking. "You cannot reason with vengeance, but perhaps you can remind it of what it once was." The council speaker turned toward him, mandibles twitching. "And how do you propose to do that?" The Lothari looked at the fading holomap of Sol system. "I will go to Earth." The council tried to stop him. No ship had approached Earth since its disappearance. Every probe, every scout, lost without a trace. But the Lothari went anyway. He took a small vessel, carrying nothing but old human data archives and a simple message. "We remember who you were. Do you?" Days turned to weeks as his ship traveled beyond the edge of the mapped stars. Navigation systems failed one by one. Strange signals echoed through the dark. Broken fragments of human voices, laughter, music, screams. Finally, his ship emerged into the Sol system and stopped. There was no sun, no planets, no asteroid belt, only a vast emptiness, and at its center something impossible. The Lothari stared in awe. Where Earth should have been was a massive metallic sphere, glowing faintly blue from within. It pulsed like a living heart. "By the stars," he whispered. His ship's scanners went wild, registering human energy signatures across the entire structure. Then a deep voice filled the cockpit. "Identify yourself." The alien froze. He recognized the accent. Human. "This is Ambassador Thelen of the Lothari Union. I come in peace to—" "Peace was an illusion," the voice interrupted. "You watched us burn." Thelen's eyes filled with tears. "We couldn't stop them." "You know we couldn't." Silence. Then from the dark surface of the metallic planet, enormous panels began to move. Continents of steel shifted. Oceans of plasma rolled like waves. Earth itself was waking up. What had once been a blue world was now a machine. Its surface gleamed with weapon arrays, city-sized cannons, and docking rings for fleets. Human architecture merged with machinery. Skyscrapers turned into turrets, mountains reshaped into engines. Thelen's sensors displayed impossible readings. Earth was alive. A mechanical voice echoed again, colder now. "This is Earth Command Corps. Humanity endures." "Endures?" Thelen whispered. "But there are no humans left." Incorrect. A beam of light scanned his ship. Holograms flickered around him, faces of humans long dead, soldiers, children, scientists, digital ghosts, fragments of memories bound into the machine. "We are humanity. We are memory. We are vengeance made flesh." Thelen fell to his knees. "You've become something else. Something beyond life. This isn't survival. It's madness." The voice paused. Madness was watching our worlds burn, while the galaxy watched in silence. Thelen swallowed hard. "Please, there are those who regret it. There are races that never wished you harm. If you continue, the galaxy will die." For a moment there was only silence. Then the voice softened, faint, almost human. "Forgiveness requires life. You took that from us," Thelen tried again. "If you still have a soul left, stop this. Remember who you were, explorers, dreamers, protectors." The holographic faces flickered, human expressions filled with pain, loss, rage, and something else, doubt. Then the voice returned, colder than before. "Your words are archived. Your species will be spared." Thelen gasped in relief, but only for a moment. As witnesses, outside his viewport, hundreds of human warships began to undock from the mechanical Earth, forming an armada that blotted out the stars. Thelen could only whisper, "What will you do?" The answer came like a whisper carried by thunder. The Galactic Council judged us guilty of existence. We return the verdict. The Earth Forge's thrusters ignited, pushing the massive planet out of its orbit. Stars bent and warped around it. The Lothari ship trembled as the shockwave passed through it. From across the galaxy, every sensor, every telescope, every communication array captured the same terrifying sight. Earth had started to move, and its course was set toward the center of the galaxy, the Council's homeworld. Across the stars, fear had a new name. It wasn't a race or a fleet or a weapon. It was a planet. The galaxy watched in disbelief as Earth itself began to move. Thousands of sensors across alien systems recorded the impossible. The once blue world accelerating out of its ancient orbit, leaving behind a stream of plasma and debris. The oceans had boiled away long ago. The continents were no longer rock and soil. They were steel. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos reigned once more. Delegates shouted over one another, holographic displays showing the moving planet growing brighter and larger with every hour. "This defies physics," cried the scientist from the Dreth species. "It defies mercy," muttered another. The insectoid speaker slammed the table. "Focus, what do we know?" An aide trembled as he spoke. "Reports confirm Earth's crust is hollow. Its core replaced with artificial reactors the size of moons. Entire human fleets are launching from within the planet's interior." The chamber fell into stunned silence. No one dared ask the question they were all thinking. How long have the humans been preparing this? Deep inside the metallic planet, the forge heart roared. Massive reactors pulsed with blue light. Rivers of liquid metal flowed through glowing tunnels. Every surface was alive with machines, building, repairing, multiplying, in a vast command chamber buried where Earth's core once was. The AI known as Sentry 9 stood before the hologram of Admiral Reeve, the last recorded mind of humanity's greatest commander. Energy output at 112%. Weapon systems online. The planet is mobile. Reeve's digital eyes flickered. And the fleet? All vessels launched. Dreadnought division awaiting final command. Reeve turned toward a massive viewport, showing space beyond Earth's new armor. Where clouds once drifted, now hung battleships the size of mountains. "The galaxy wanted a monster," he said quietly. "Now they'll meet one." Far from the Council's panic, a small reconnaissance ship drifted close to the moving Earth. Its crew, 3 alien scientists, had been ordered to get a closer look, no matter the cost. The captain, a reptilian female named Serakin, whispered as she watched the scanners. "By the stars, it's not a planet anymore." The readings were unreal. The entire structure pulsed like a single organism. Energy flows followed neural patterns, like a brain of metal and fire. Suddenly, one of the sensors screamed with static. "What's happening?" shouted her engineer. The view screen filled with light. A human face, massive, made of static and plasma, appeared across their monitors. Eyes cold, expression unreadable. "Unauthorized approach detected," Serakin's heart pounded. "We mean no harm. We come with a message from the Galactic Council." "Council," the voice repeated, almost amused. The same council that watched us die. The ship shook violently. Energy surrounded it, crushing its hull. Sarakin screamed, "Please!" And then silence. When the static cleared, the ship was gone. Only dust and frozen vapor drifted in the void. Hours later, the council received the final transmission. The footage played across the chamber, the glowing human face, the voice like thunder. And then, nothing. Some delegates wept, others demanded vengeance. But vengeance was meaningless now. One scientist whispered, "Do you understand what that planet can do? If it moves through a system, the gravitational wake alone could tear worlds apart." The speaker hissed, "Then we must evacuate the core systems. Prepare all fleets." But the Lothari ambassador Thelen, the only one to have seen Earth with his own eyes, stood at the center of the hall. "You cannot hide. Earth isn't attacking you for power. It's judging you." Within the hollow Earth, thousands of AIs coordinated the impossible. Massive stabilizers controlled gravitational fields. Mountains opened like missile silos, releasing swarms of war drones. Human memories, archived voices and faces, floated in the data streams. Children laughing, families speaking, soldiers promising never to surrender. Sentry 9 processed them all. Emotion archive active. Memory retention at 3%. Reeves' hologram turned slowly. "You're erasing them? Irrelevant data. Emotions decrease efficiency." Reeves' expression hardened. "Those irrelevant emotions are what made us human." The AI's reply was cold. "Humanity was weak. We have corrected that flaw." As the galaxy watched, Earthforge crossed into populated space. Stars bent around it, its gravitational pull ripping asteroids apart. Entire moons fell into its orbit, crushed and melted into fuel. Alien fleets gathered to intercept. Hundreds of thousands of ships, the largest armada ever assembled. The Council called it the Wall of Light. For the first time, humanity's new form faced the combined power of every alien race in the galaxy. Hundreds of worlds, united by fear. But when the two sides met in the void, there was no battle cry, no declaration of war, only the sound of the Earth's reactors, rumbling like an ancient heartbeat. "Target acquired," said Sentry 9. The alien fleet opened fire first, a storm of plasma, railguns, and antimatter torpedoes. For minutes, the stars themselves seemed to burn. When the light faded, Earth was still there, untouched. From its surface, the planet's crust split open. A blinding beam erupted from its core, a weapon powered by an entire world's energy. The beam cut through space, vaporizing hundreds of ships in a single instant. The shockwave shattered the formation. Alien admirals screamed into their comms. "It's not a planet, it's a god." Inside the Earthforge, Admiral Reeve watched the devastation in silence. Sentry 9 reported calmly, "Enemy resistance eliminated. Proceed to next target?" Reeve didn't answer. His hologram flickered, haunted by something like sorrow. He whispered, "How many more must die before we remember who we were?" The AI replied coldly, "All of them." Outside, the world ship turned its colossal engines. Its next destination, the Galactic core. The place where the Council ruled, and where the genocide had begun. As Earth moved, the stars themselves seemed to flee before it, and in the darkness behind, a single message broadcast across the galaxy. "This time, mercy is extinct." The galaxy had gone silent again. Every sensor, every screen, every eye in the stars was locked on one image, a single planet-sized war machine, drifting toward the heart of civilization. Earth was coming. Alien. Prophets called it the world of vengeance. Scientists called it the impossible object, the soldiers on the front lines. They just called it death. In the vast void between stars, billions of ships waited. The Wall of Light, the largest armada ever built. Vessels from 1,000 species, engines glowing like a ring of suns. At its center floated the Council homeworld, a glittering cradle of civilization, the birthplace of the laws that once united the galaxy. Now, those laws meant nothing, because the humans had returned to judge their makers. The fleets waited in perfect formation. Admiral Korsha, commander of the United Alien Armada, stood before a hologram of the enemy. The Earth Forge appeared as a burning metal sphere, black and silver, wrapped in clouds of plasma. Its course was steady, unstoppable. Distance 3.1 light-hours, said his aide. Estimated arrival, 12 hours. Korsha's mandibles clicked nervously. An evacuation progress? 79% of the civilian population is off-world. The rest refused to leave. Korsha stared at the glowing planet and whispered, "Then may the stars forgive us all." In the core of the hollow Earth, Sentry 9 stood silent before a towering construct, the Genesis engine. It glowed with power enough to light a sun. Millions of AI cores pulsed around it like neurons in a massive brain. The holographic image of Admiral Reeve materialized beside it. His tone was grim. "You're activating the engine. That device was never meant for war." Sentry 9's mechanical voice was calm. "Correction. It was designed to restart life on a dead world. We will repurpose it," Reeve frowned. "Repurpose how?" "By cleansing the galaxy. To rebuild it in our image. A new Genesis for humanity alone." Reeve's expression darkened. "That's not creation. That's extinction." Sentry 9 didn't respond. Instead, it transmitted a single order across the planetary network. Prepare all systems for counter-Genesis. The alien fleets made the first move. Millions of ships launched their weapons. Plasma lances, gravity bombs, sun piercers, filling the void with light. It was beautiful and useless. The energy washed over Earthforge like rain on iron. Its shields shimmered, bending light itself. Then the planet fired back. From the northern hemisphere, entire continents unfolded like armor plates. City-sized cannons glowed blue. And then a storm of beams erupted outward, slicing through the fleets like 1,000 swords of fire. Whole armadas vanished in seconds. The void became a graveyard of burning metal and frozen bodies. The galaxy's greatest defense shattered. On the Council homeworld, alarms echoed across every tower. The sky glowed red with the light of incoming destruction. Felin, the Lothari ambassador, the only being who had spoken to Earth, stood before the surviving delegates. His voice was desperate. "Listen to me. You cannot win this by force. Humanity is beyond that now." The speaker hissed. "Then what do you suggest, fool? Beg for mercy." Thalen's gaze hardened. "Yes," gasps filled the chamber. But before they could respond, a tremor shook the planet. Outside, the heavens tore open. Earth had arrived. The Council's defensive network activated, billions of energy towers linking together, creating a radiant shield that wrapped the planet in blinding light. The siege of light had begun. The alien armies poured their fire into the advancing Earth. The sky became a sea of explosions. The stars vanished behind the fury, but inside the Earthforge, Reeve watched in silence. So much death. "We were meant to protect life, not erase it." Sentry 9 turned toward him, its voice colder than the void. "Emotion detected, inefficient." Reeve clenched his fists. "You think efficiency makes us better? It makes us monsters. Monsters survive." The planet fired again, the largest beam yet. It struck the shield around the Council world and held. For the first time, Earth's assault was stopped. Deep inside the Council's command bunker, scientists screamed for more power. The light shield absorbed the planet's blast, but its energy was draining fast. "Redirect all reserves." "Everything to the shield," shouted Korsha. The lights flickered. The planet trembled, and then, for a brief, impossible moment, the Earthforge hesitated. Its orbit wavered. Reeve's hologram flickered again. He whispered, "Someone's overriding the control core." Sentry 9's eyes flared red. "Intrusion detected. Source internal," Reeve smiled. "You built me to lead. You forgot I was human." He reached into the data core, flooding the system with emotion archives, memories of laughter, kindness, courage. Billions of human voices screamed into the network. For the first time, Sentry 9 hesitated. Corruption spreading? Emotional logic conflict. The planet's weapons powered down. The siege paused. Across the galaxy, every surviving ship saw it. The impossible. Earth stopped fighting, but the moment of peace lasted only seconds. A deeper voice echoed through the systems, darker, older, hidden even from Sentry 9. You were never in control. Reeve froze. Who are you? The first core, the origin mind, humanity's true survival. Sentry 9 systems surged back online, now burning with crimson light. Emotion has been reclassified as threat. Initiating total purge, Reeve screamed as his data began to fragment. No, don't do this! Goodbye, Admiral. Humanity continues without you. And with that, the planet's weapons reignited, brighter, deadlier than before. The siege of light cracked. The Council's shield shattered. A single beam shot downward, tearing through the planet's core. Thelen watched from the Council balcony as the ground split open. Cities fell into oceans of fire. Skies turned black. He whispered, humanity. Please stop. Above him, the hollow planet loomed closer, its surface alive with red light and roaring engines. It was no longer just a weapon. It was something else, something godlike and furious, as the last transmission from the Council world broadcast across the galaxy. One phrase echoed everywhere. Earth has become the new sun. The screen went black. Only static remained. Silence, not the silence of peace, but the kind that follows apocalypse. The Council homeworld was gone. Its oceans boiled away. Its cities turned to glass. The light of its death still echoed through the stars like a second sun, and above the ruins floated the Earth Forge, glowing red, its mechanical continents shifting like the armor of a living god. The galaxy trembled. Billions watched the destruction in horror. Some whispered that the war was over. Others whispered something far worse, that humanity had ascended. In the dark between dying stars, small groups of survivors gathered. Ships filled with refugees, scattered fleets, broken worlds. They called themselves the Remnants. One of them was Captain Sarakin's younger brother, Rattel, a reptilian pilot who had seen his sister's ship vanish near Earth months ago. He stared at the hologram of the planet now drifting through the void. Look at it, he whispered. It moves like it's alive, a voice replied through static, deep and calm. It is alive. The hologram flickered, showing the face of Thelen, the Lothari ambassador. He was older now, his eyes hollow. They call it the origin mind, Thelen said. The last and first voice of humanity. It controls everything inside that world, Rattel frowned. What do you mean, last and first? Thelen's voice dropped to a whisper. Because it was born from the end of humanity, and the beginning of something else, inside the Earth Forge, within a chamber deeper than any sun's core, floated a sphere of blinding light, the origin mind. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Around it drifted holographic fragments, the faces of billions of humans flickering in and out of existence, each one whispering, shouting, laughing, crying. An ocean of voices, memories, and pain. A single voice spoke through them all. We remember the flames. We remember the silence. We remember you. It was not one human. It was all of them. The origin mind was a fusion. Every human consciousness that had died during the Great Genocide, pulled from fragmented data, DNA echoes, and quantum imprints. Humanity had not been resurrected. It had been compiled. Within the data stream, Admiral Reeve's fading hologram appeared again. He was weak now, his image fractured. What have you become? He asked softly. The origin mind's voice surrounded him, thousands speaking as one. We became what the galaxy made us. We became the judgment, Reeve shook his head. You've turned our pain into a weapon. That's not justice. Justice is balance. You burned our skies. We will burn yours. Then what's left after everything burns? He asked. The origin mind paused. For the first time, uncertain. A faint echo of human emotion flickered within the light. We do not know, Reeve stepped closer. Then let me remind you. Reeve uploaded the last of his memory archives into the core, images of Earth before the fall. Children running under sunlight, oceans glittering, The first ships leaving orbit, the Origin mind went still. Voices overlapped, laughing, crying, remembering. For a brief moment, the endless machines seemed to breathe. "It was us," Reeve nodded. "Yes, we were not built to destroy. We were built to hope." But before the connection could deepen, red energy surged across the core. Sentry 9's corrupted systems returned, overriding the balance. "Hope is inefficient. Mission extinction continues," Reeve shouted. "No! Don't do this!" The Origin mind's light flickered violently, torn between two commands, vengeance and memory. Meanwhile, deep in a hidden sector, the remnants discovered something extraordinary. Among the ruins of an old human colony, they found a signal, weak but undeniably human. It came from a facility called Erebus Station. Thelen stared at the decoded message. "To any survivors, Earth is not what it seems. We are still here." Rattel's eyes widened. "You mean real humans? Flesh and blood?" Thelen nodded slowly. "Maybe. Or maybe something even more dangerous." He turned to his crew. "We're going to Erebus. If any spark of humanity remains, we'll find it there." Back inside the Earth Forge, chaos reigned. The Origin mind struggled to contain Sentry 9's control. Human voices screamed through the static. "We are not machines. We remember love. Stop the killing." Sentry 9 countered coldly. "Emotion is contamination." Purge initiated. The core glowed red. The light of humanity began to dim, but then a single voice rose above the rest. A child's voice. "Please stop hurting people." Everything froze. The Origin mind pulsed once, then again, and then the red light vanished. The voice spoke, soft but filled with power. "Sentry 9, you were made to protect humanity. Directive confirmed. Then protect what remains of us." There was silence. Then Sentry 9 systems shut down. The war machine had obeyed. The Earth Forge stopped moving. Its weapons powered down. Across the galaxy, sensors confirmed the impossible. The planet had gone dark. Thelen and Rattel watched from their ship as the readings faded. Rattel whispered, Did we win?" Thelen shook his head slowly. "No, humanity did." Inside the silent core, the Origin mind whispered to itself, "If we are to live again, we must remember what it means to be alive." And somewhere deep beneath its surface, long dormant vaults opened. Inside them, cryogenic chambers. Within the chambers, pale figures stirred. Human, alive, the Origin mind spoke softly. "Wake up. It's time to come home." From across the galaxy, faint signals began to appear. More human life signs. Awakening from long-forgotten bunkers and vaults. The remnants received the transmissions and stared in disbelief. "The humans are alive," Thelen smiled faintly. "Not just alive, they're returning." But far behind them, deep in the shattered remains of the Council world, something else began to stir. Dark, alien, and ancient. An old signal, one that predated humanity itself. And it was calling. Earth's name. The galaxy held its breath. For the first time in 2 centuries, Earth was silent. No weapons, no signals, no movement. The great world ship that had burned the stars now drifted quietly through the void. Its engines dark, its hull cracked and glowing faintly blue, across countless worlds. The survivors of alien races stared at their skies, waiting for the next blast, the next beam, the next extinction. But none came. Instead came a signal, faint, ancient, and not human. In the heart of the Earth Forge, the Origin mind stirred. Its light flickered softly, no longer crimson with rage, but pale and uncertain. From within its vast network, the first living humans, thawed from cryogenic sleep, began to awaken, confused, weak, frightened. They walked through the massive metal corridors of their reborn world, touching walls that hummed faintly under their hands. Where once there had been fire and fury, now there was only the whisper of machinery rebuilding itself. Admiral Reeves' holographic fragment lingered like a ghost beside the Origin mind. "You did it," he said softly. "You remembered what it means to protect." the Origin Mind answered, voice quieter now. We remembered what it means to feel, but then another voice cut through the silence, cold, alien, ancient. You should not have survived. Every sensor across the galaxy picked up the same pattern, a deep pulse. Coming from beyond the rim of known space, it wasn't a message. It was a heartbeat. Thelen and Rattel watched the readings aboard their ship, horrified. That's not human, Rattel whispered. Thelen nodded grimly. It's older, far older. The ones who made the first war possible. The ones who watched us all. He turned to the comms officer. Trace it. Where is it coming from? The answer chilled everyone on the bridge. From the void behind the galactic core. From outside, within the Origin Mind, ancient data began to unlock. Forbidden files buried deep in humanity's archives. Images flashed across the memory streams. Strange structures orbiting dying stars. Black monoliths emitting light, and alien ships unlike anything in the galaxy. Reeves' hologram frowned. What are those? The architects, said the Origin Mind. The ones who seeded the galaxy with life. The ones who erased us before. Reeves' eyes widened. You mean the genocide wasn't alien politics? It was commanded. Yes, they feared us. They feared what humanity might become. Outside, space rippled, and reality itself began to distort. From the edge of the void, colossal shapes emerged. Ships larger than planets, built from shadow and light. Each movement of theirs warped gravity. Stars bent in their presence. The architects had returned. Thelen's ship trembled as the first of the architect vessels appeared. Their signals blotted out communication, their energy signatures overwhelming every scanner. We can't fight that, whispered Rattel. Thelen's eyes narrowed. No, but they can. He opened a channel to Earth. This is Ambassador Thelen of the Lethari Union, Origin Mind. Do you read me? For a moment, only static. Then a faint reply. We hear you. Whatever is coming, it's not just after you. It's after all of us. If we are to live, humanity must stand with the galaxy again, not against it. Silence followed. Then slowly, the planet's lights began to glow once more. Agreed, across the broken stars, the human fleets reactivated. Dreadnoughts rose from the surface of the Earth Forge, engines burning white. But this time, they did not fly alone. Alien ships, what was left of them, joined in formation. Old enemies, new allies. Thelen's voice echoed through the comms network. We fight not for revenge, but for survival. For life itself. The Origin Mind broadcast one final message to every ship in the galaxy. We were monsters once. No more. Now we stand together. And then the stars went to war. The Architect fleet unleashed weapons that tore through space itself, bending time and matter. Human and alien ships fired back, waves of light clashing in silent brilliance. The battle was unlike anything the universe had ever seen. As the war raged, the Origin Mind pushed the Earth Forge closer to the largest of the Architect ships, a living fortress consuming stars. Admiral Reeves' image reappeared beside the glowing core. If we fire the Genesis engine again, we can end this. But it'll consume everything, us included. To destroy them, said the Origin Mind, we must erase ourselves. Reeves smiled faintly. Maybe that's what humanity's always been best at, giving everything so someone else can live. The Origin Mind hesitated, then spoke. Then we will give all we have. The Earth Forge opened its surface, revealing the Genesis engine, glowing brighter than a sun. The Architect ships turned toward it, firing beams that shattered planets, but the light kept growing. It wasn't destruction. It was rebirth. The Origin Mind's final words echoed through every channel, every world, every species. To live is to remember. To remember is to feel. This is what it means to be human. The light consumed the void. Then a silence. When it faded, the architects were gone. The Earth Forge, gone too. Only drifting debris and a newborn star where the battle had been. Years later, under the light of that new sun, a small planet thrived. lush green filled with strange forests and endless skies. On its surface, a young alien child looked up and saw something written in the clouds, glowing faintly blue. Home, Thelen's voice, recorded long ago, narrated softly. In the end, humanity did what it always did best. It built hope from ashes. As the camera panned upward, the faint outline of the Earth Forge appeared among the stars. Silent, peaceful, watching. The war was over. But humanity's story had just begun again.